like to think, but it's easy when you're by my side. No point in calling, you just have to see the fundamentals of our love tonight. Cause I've been looking at a photograph of you, and I've been thinking about all the ways you move. This isolation got me feeling like a movie, my love. Yeah, when I wake up, I feel empty, not beside you. My whole life been searching just to find you. This quantity, it hasn't got the right to keep us apart. Killing time, we got nowhere to be. You're sending messages I can't ignore. No contemplating, come here close to me. I'm bored at home, can't leave the house no more. But I've been looking at a photograph of you, and I've been thinking about all the ways you move. This isolation got me feeling like I'm losing my love. Yeah, when I wake up, I feel empty, not beside you. My whole life been searching just to find you. This quantity, it hasn't got the right to keep us apart. You, when I wake up, I feel empty, not beside you. My whole life been searching just to find you. This quantity, it hasn't got the right to keep us apart.
Hey, you guys. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me. I guess we've all heard the news. OJ, but hey, SDA, good to see you. Tara? Okay, you're going to a doctor's appointment. Okay, I'll see you in a little bit. I hope you have good results, and I'll be praying for you. If y'all would put prayers in the chat there for our lovely Miss Tara. She is the best. I tell you what, y'all all are the best, putting up with me. I really am grateful for each one of you. When I'm a brat, y'all put up with me and still love me, and I really appreciate that. uh, okay, so yeah, there's SDA. Good news, Armagani. Right. That's kind of messed up, but I ain't mad. Hey, Chaos and Roses. I know I'm almost giddy. I was going to talk about him again. I know you got to face your what. That's right. Like I'm an NYPD for my true crime. Yeah, hell yeah. I think that everybody has an OJ Simpson story of where were you, like JF Kennedy? Well, where were you when JFK died, and where were you when OJ Simpson and the car chase? Um, Representing my friends in Miami, Florida there. Y'all know that's my favorite place to vacation. My dad lives in Florida, not Miami, but I love Florida. So representing Florida, all those folks that are there, appreciate you. And NY, of course, got a shout out to our New Yorkers. I love New York, and they had the best food I've ever eaten in my whole entire life there. Alrighty, let's move right along. So, everyone's celebrating. Hey, Rapper, good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. It's always so good to see you over at Dazed. What's messed up? What part's messed up? I wasn't alive with Gio. I wasn't yet either, but I do remember one of those iconic moments in history and time was when the Vietnam veterans came home. I remember watching that with my mom. I can't remember. I must have been sick, or we were sent home, or for whatever reason, I was out of school. And I remember watching it on the TV, specifically in her bedroom. And I remember asking her, why are they throwing stuff at them? And she explained to me that they were anti-war people doing that. But yeah, I wasn't born yet for JFK. Sorry, I've got a terrible glare. I'm still trying to get used to this monitor that I switched out with my husband. See if I can see y'all better. My cousin is doing the ding dong. OJ is dead. Happy dance. I know, right? I guess I had lost track. I'm listening. I'm busy prepping rose seeds for stratification and planting. So, okay. Thank you for being here. I appreciate y'all. Y'all hit that like. And so I was thought I would. What is this? Uh, no, she's not. No, she's not. She's a mod rapper. Um, I thought we would stream some of the coverage if you wanted to, but doesn't everybody have where were you when the Bronco chase was happening? I have a story. I had relocated to Oregon. I was engaged and was going to be getting married in Lake Tahoe. And he was a programmer for the company that I work for here locally. We both sought out to go to work for a company called Orcom Systems. I don't even know if they're in business anymore, but one of those tech companies. And he moved out there first, and then I moved out there. And I'll never forget, his family was there for the summer, and we were all watching it in the living room of that apartment in Oregon. And so it was during a transitional time in my life that really stands out. And so I experienced that on the other side of the states because I am in North Carolina. OJ killed his wife and Ron. He has to face them now. That's right. I am not. Why do you want me to time her out? Okay, I'm going to the store to get my chicken broth. Oh, that's a lot of people not feeling well, Tim. I'll be praying for you too. These prayers are there for you too. I appreciate you coming. Okay, so I'm gonna go over here and we're gonna stream some. Let me I think it's ABC that I was watching.
Yesterday saying he succumbed to his battle with cancer, surrounded by his children and grandchildren. It was revealed in February that Simpson was battling prostate cancer, but he refuted rumors at the time that he was in hospice care. ABC News audio reporter Alex Stone joins me now on the phone. Alex, what do we know at this point?
She must have been a lot younger
as you
than
mentioned,
him.
says that he died yesterday, we believe, in Las Vegas, where he had been living. It was only a couple of weeks
Does anybody know how Nicole Brown Simpson was? How old she was?
ago, where he had refuted the claims that he was in hospice care right around the Super Bowl. Word had come out that he may have been in hospice care, and he put out a video on X saying that he was fine, looking like he was going to go golfing. His impact on Southern California and really the world cannot be overstated. Going back to his time in the NFL and at USC and then the NFL, then the infamous trial in the 90s for the double murder of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. he was acquitted of that. There were a number of years where he was in and out of the headlines. And then we covered for a number of months the hotel room armed robbery case in Las Vegas. He ended up going to prison for that, got out, had been living in Las Vegas. His family now saying on X that he has died, Diane.
Alex, he became such a national focal point during that trial for the murders of his wife and his ex-wife at the time and her friend. What legacy does O.J. Simpson leave behind now so many years later?
Yeah, she must have been like 20 years younger, I think they said.
Well, I think that depending on how one looks at O.J. Simpson,
a lot of people are saying that right now, rapper.
The
that doesn't mean they really mean it.
It's out of frustration, running through the airport.
They don't really mean
it. He was the biggest of the big star before that trial. And then 35. The shock of the trial, there are many Americans who will always believe that he committed that double murder, others who believe that he did not. You remember the lines that came out of that? If it does not fit, you must acquit. The impact of that trial, for those who were not alive during that time or not old enough to remember it, was incredible. The whole world watching that trial during that time, the whole world watching TV and listening to the radio, waiting for that verdict to come down. And then when it came down, much of America did not agree with it. And then he was sometimes almost comically in and out of the headlines over many years. And then to get in trouble again.
Did y'all know he was sick? Hey, Lips, good to see you. Good morning. My cousin means it. She said, I'm just trying to make him be nice to you. I'm sorry. I hear you. I do. I hear you. I'm just trying to get him to be nice to you. I understand. I had no idea he was even that old. I really thought he was much younger. I guess I haven't really been paying attention to him that much. Hey, Casey, good to see you. Okay, here we go.
Las Vegas to get back his own memorabilia. He got into the memorabilia trade and selling his items over many years, and then went into retirement, always claiming he was looking for the real killers of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. There were always those who were saying he wasn't doing enough to do that if he really was not involved in the murders. But he then went into retirement in Florida and Nevada and had been relatively quiet over the last couple of years.
All right. Alex Stone, thank you. And again, we have breaking news that O.J. Simpson has died. His family says he succumbed to his battle with prostate cancer. O.J. Simpson was 76 years old.
Okay, let me go find something else to go watch. I wanted to see O.J. and Nicole. How about this? Why don't we watch this? Full documentary. 6 years ago. Let's watch this. Is it still showing?
Hands-on programs for hands-on people. ECPI University.
I've always liked where.
Tell you a story you've never heard before, because no one knows this story the way I know it, because I know the facts better than anyone. Got to do what we got to do. I'm going to tell you a story you've never heard before, because no one knows this story the way I know it.
Holy shit.
It takes place the night of June 12, 1994.
Have y'all seen this? Have y'all ever watched this? O.J. Simpson, The Lost Confession, the Fox interview. Have y'all ever seen this? It's called O.J. I Did It, or If I Did It. If I Did It, I'm sorry. O.J. If I Did It. Have you ever seen this? We'll watch some of it. Okay, good. We'll watch some of it. I haven't either. You need some help? Is she here yet? Not yet. Let me check my phone then. Awesome. Let me press play.
And it concerns the murders of my ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her young friend, Ronald Goldman. Forget everything you think you know about that night, because I know the facts better than anyone.
Yeah, he was. That is a
The story
shame.
you know
I
or
wonder
think
what
you know,
his
that's not the
childhood was
story.
like.
Not even close. This is one story the whole world got
I'm
wrong.
curious about his childhood.
Tonight, O.J. Simpson is out of jail and a free man. But did he get away with murder? 12 years ago, a shocking interview with publisher Judith Regan.
You reached under the seat for...
a knife.
For the first time ever, in O.J.'s own words.
I remember thinking, well, whatever's going on over there's got to stop.
Okay, we're gonna speed on up to the good stuff, right?
Panel of experts who can help evaluate what we are hearing from a man who many Americans believe committed these gruesome murders and who walks free today. But before we listen to O.J. talk about the night of the murders, we first need to hear about the relationship between O.J. and Nicole. Let's go back to the beginning.
Okay, have y'all
I
seen
want
this,
to talk about the
Debbie?
first time you met Nicole Brown.
Or SDA?
Where was it?
It was right on Rodeo, a place called Daisy. It's a little breakfast place. I had actually gone there because my first wife, Marguerite, and I had just realized and decided the night before that it wasn't working with us.
O.J. was married to his high school sweetheart, Marguerite Whitley. They had 2 children and a third on the way.
Let's look at this family for just a second. Y'all know I'm gonna have to stop this every so often. It's gonna be real annoying, but he does. I think you're right. He talks phony baloney, and I can't stand phony baloney. You know, don't pretend to like me to my face. Just go on and hate me. Have the courage to go on and hate me to my face. I can't stand phony baloney. Here you go.
At the time he met Nicole, he says his marriage was on the rocks.
You know, we had had a trial separation. We had lived together till to June, and we realized it wasn't going to work. But she told me she was pregnant. You know, geez, what are you know? Here we are, not, you know, how could you get pregnant? Da, 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 whatever. And I was so depressed. But it was our anniversary. The next day, over the weekend, would be our anniversary. So I went into Beverly Hills. I bought her a coat for them to deliver it to her. And I ran into a friend of mine. He said, let's have breakfast. And when we walked in, this vision turned to me and said,
Oh, look at her young. So young. Oh, you've seen it 100 times. I'm glad you're here. I'm sure that you've noticed things about it that we won't pick up on.
where do you want to sit? And I remember thinking, what a gorgeous girl. But I can't deal with this. So it was 3 days later when I came back, I went back into the Daisy and was having lunch with the owner. And she came back in. And I said, man, I would really like to take this girl out. And he called her over and introduced us and, you know, said, oh, this is one of the good guys.
And you were together from then on?
Well, yeah, well, I had to take her, before we went to the party, I had to explain to her that I was married. But I wasn't married. You know, it sounded like a line, but.
Oh, my God. Ugh. There's a funeral going by you right now. How fitting.
After we talked, I think she believed me, and we're together ever since.
You
Wow.
courted her for 7 years? You were together 7 years before you got married?
Yeah.
Long
That's correct.
courtship?
They dated
Yeah, well, I
7
really wasn't looking to
years,
get married.
y'all. That's a
Most
long
guys aren't looking to get married.
time.
I had had
That's
3
a
kids.
long time
You know,
before
obviously,
they got
early on in the
married.
marriage, my 3rd daughter was born, my 3rd child, who passed away a couple of years after that. But I wasn't looking to have kids. And then after a few years, she mentioned to me that, you know, she had been helping me when my kids were with us, raise my kids, and she kind of wanted her own, which was a good point to me at the time. But I was still kind of hesitant. And that caused a lot of friction with us. But for the most part, we had a terrific relationship.
Who believes that? Who believes? Right. Yeah, I want to know that too. Do you know SDA? What happened to the baby? What happened with the baby?
You write about the night in 1984 with the baseball bat.
You know, I don't know why this has become such a big deal. This is what bothered me with the media and these stories is I hadn't committed to
Thank you, Tara. I appreciate that.
a wedding date. I think I committed to, I got engaged, but then I'm do what most guys do, you know.
You put it off.
Hey, no fear.
We'll
Good
get
to see
married
you.
maybe next summer or something. And she had come home, and we were talking about it, and we went out front like we often did.
She
and
drowned
we was
in
talking
the
about
pool.
what it was, and I was sitting on the front of this. It was
that's
actually my car, but I
terrible.
bought it for her. And
didn't
I
have
had
a
a bat
nanny?
between my legs.
Oh, it was the first
and as
ride.
we're talking, it's it's
Yeah,
bouncing off
she
the tire, and
drowned.
we're just talking. And at one point, it hits the rim.
It
And she
hits
says,
the
if you
rim.
damage that, you're going to have to pay for it. And I go, well, if I pay for that, I guess I have to pay for this too. And I kind of hit the front of her car, you know. So she went in the house. I don't know what she did when she went in the house. But, I mean, it's my car. I pay for everything. So I pay for everything around here, right?
She knew he had a volatile temper. But Nicole Brown married O.J. anyway, hoping that he would mellow once they started a family.
When you got married, when you finally did it after 7 years, were you fully committed?
Yes, it was.
And she wanted her own children.
Yeah.
You write about
Yeah,
that.
as a matter of fact, once we got
Thank
married,
you,
as I
crazy
pointed out,
chicken lady.
we went on our honeymoon to get pregnant, and she got pregnant on the honeymoon. Yeah.
Were you happy about that?
Yeah. At that point, yes.
Oh, yeah, total
Their
narcissist.
first child was a girl,
Everything's her fault.
Sydney, and Nicole
Yeah,
basked in
total
motherhood.
narcissist, gaslighter from
But for
hell,
OJ,
man.
it meant having to share his wife's attention.
Just a victim of circumstance.
So
Give me a
Nicole has
break.
Sydney.
Yes.
What kind of a mother was she? Because you write
She was
about this a lot.
incredible much. She was almost
If you're that big of a
too
victim,
attentive
you need to
if
be
you
wrapped
can
in
be
bubble
too
wrap.
attentive.
In what way?
You couldn't get her to go anywhere, you know. Couldn't go out to dinner because she couldn't leave the kids. And it became a problem. I had worked with Judita Brown, Nicole's mother. We had come up with all kind of schemes to try to.
Okay, I want to ask y'all something. We're not at that part yet, but I got to ask y'all. Who else thinks that Kardashian daughter might be his? Did they say it was yesterday? Wasn't it yesterday they said he was in hospice? Through the night, I guess. He had cancer.
To get her to lead the kids, you know, and I said, we just need a
wondered
weekend to go somewhere, you know, and it was just,
if,
it was almost impossible. If we went out to dinner, she'd be calling
they
back.
claim
So
that
she was
Kardashian might
totally
be.
involved in the kids' life. She was a terrific mom.
You write in the book that Nicole changed after your son, Justin, was born.
Yeah.
In what way did she change?
Well, she always had a thing about her weight, and that became all-consuming thing, right? Her mother, the first advice her mother gave me, the first night we met, was, OJ, don't let her put on weight. She's miserable.
What did he just say? He gaslights it to his mother and says his mother said, or her mother said, don't ever let her gain weight. I'm going to back that up. I'm going to hear it again.
That became all-consuming thing, right? Her mother, the first advice her mother gave me, the first night we met, was, OJ, don't let her put on weight. She's miserable if she puts on weight. So that became a major thing. She had heard rumors of me having an affair or something, which unfortunately was true, and that didn't help the situation at all. The first time we were ever apart was when I went back to New York that fall for NFL Live, visited back and forth. I didn't know it at the time, but she had kind of had a fling herself.
Oh my God. There he goes. He's nervous, and that's why he's flipping his hair if he had any. He admits to affairs. Of course, he's a Don Juan, Mr. Debonair. It's okay. It makes them look like heroes.
You know.
And you also had your flings.
Yeah.
Eve, can I get
Chloe is rumored to be his, is what we're saying.
your tissue?
Yes, please.
Can we
thank
grab
you.
a tissue, guys? What does this make you cry?
Just the kids. How much she loved the kids.
Did she want to be a mom?
Oh, Gosh, yes. And she was such a great mom. And, you know, just to think that the thing she would have wanted the most was to.
Sorry, I just want to hear his interview.
This is why I stopped shopping on Amazon, and you should too.
I wanna hear
Don't
him.
spend another dime on Amazon.
Jay to regard her as an equal. By New Year's Eve, 1989, they had been married for 4 years. To the world, they were a glamorous couple living a charmed life.
Jim, if the Bills were happy with the first half, they certainly didn't show it.
He was a celebrated sports commentator for the NFL on NBC.
There's only one superstar in Rent-A-Car, Hertz.
And the face of Hertz.
Go, OJ, go!
And there was his blossoming career as an actor in movies and on television.
I remember him being in movies.
But behind closed doors, the Simpsons' marriage was tumultuous.
Talk us through...
She was so beautiful. Her and her sister, they look so much alike.
What happened on New Year's Eve, 1989?
To me, and when I look back in my life, other than the deaths of my loved ones, along with Nicole, my daughter, my mom, I always said it was the most depressing and sad night of my life because we had been to a New Year's party. We're home. We were both, sort of intoxicated. We were very affectionate.
Oh, boy.
But somehow in the middle of this affection, she asked me about some earrings.
That night, the Simpsons had been partying with OJ's friend, the pro football star Marcus Allen, and his then fiancée, Catherine. OJ says it was a comment from Catherine that made Nicole suspect he was cheating.
Turned out she had misunderstood Marcus Allen's fiancée, Catherine, that maybe I had bought Nicole some diamond earrings, but since she didn't get them, I obviously bought diamond earrings from someone else. Now, I didn't know this until after that night because...
Oh, my God. Hey, old Kennedy, good to see you. Nicole is buried in the area where Stefan Stearns was raised. I'm out of birthday cake.
Other than being very pushing me off her and going out the room and yelling and screaming, she wouldn't say what it was about except something about the earrings. And I locked her out of the room, and somehow she finds a key and come back in the room, and I threw her out. And I really threw her out with no concern for her well-being. I mean, she got physical with me, and obviously I'm bigger. I got more physical with her, which I shouldn't have done.
He's real casual about that. Yeah, he stalked her, didn't he? He stalked her. He was obsessed with her.
Historically, I just leave, and I didn't just leave. And a little later, my housekeeper came and told me that the cops were outside. And the one thing that hurts me as much as anything in this, besides being considered by some a murderer, is this being a batterer.
Police arriving at the scene describe a bloody and terrified Nicole hiding in the bushes. She ran toward them, screaming that OJ was going to kill her.
Did y'all hear that? Pardon the noise, they're putting new roof shingles on.
Her sister took photos documenting Nicole's injuries. It was one of multiple occasions that police responded to Rockingham for a domestic disturbance. This time, OJ would be charged with spousal abuse and sentenced to 120 hours of community service.
We saw the video of cats. Dad and I slept in this morning. Supposed to have storm today. Hold on 1 second. I love you. He'll be lurking in other chats. Oh yeah, it does, doesn't it? For real, for real. You know what they have my daughter do, Casey, when she She and a girlfriend went into an abandoned building on the end of our street, and they got her for trespassing because they broke a window while they were in there. They had her and her girlfriend wash cars, the police cars. They had to wash police cars. Y'all just block each other, rapper.
She had bruises on her arms and her face.
Yeah. Neck sort of, which were consistent with your wrestling person. She's, Nicole, anybody knows her, is a very physical person, a very confrontational person, who had gotten in her share of fights, with bouncers at clubs and stuff. I made no excuses. I didn't start it, but I made no excuses about my reaction. Nicole admitted that she was the one that initiated all of it, but still, I was the man. I shouldn't have reacted the way I reacted.
Are
no
you sorry?
excuses, drink. Of course I was sorry for that. I'm responsible for what I did. I got physical. I was wrong. Nicole had admitted that she initiated it, and somehow I came out of all of that because
He's taking ownership.
Because of that night as the poster boy of an abuser, which the prosecution used against me with their whole total crap about them coming to my house 8 times. Cops had been there for 8 times, which obviously was not true.
Lots to dig in there. Let's start with the prosecution.
Of the crime.
You get into a fight. Nicole comes out.
A verbal
fight.
And explains in his own words what might have happened the night of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman's murder.
Yeah, we're
This
praying
guy
for
kind
you,
of got into a
rapper.
karate thing.
A narcissist.
And I said, well, you think you can kick my ass? And I remember I grabbed a knife. It's hard for me to describe it, I'm telling you. I don't think any 2 people could be murdered the way they were without everybody being covered in blood.
Is this a confession?
You write about removing a glove before taking the knife.
I had no conscious memory of doing that, but obviously I must have because they found the glove there.
You decide.
She had talked about how happy she was. She had gotten her body completely back. She was looking great. She was finally wearing all her fancy stuff. Well, I realized, no, it was because she had a boyfriend. I didn't know
That
this
must
at the
have
time.
really got you
I
right.
didn't know she had a boyfriend. Of course it hurts. I didn't think it would happen. And for 2 or 3 months, I pursued her
Okay, hold
to
on
no
one
end.
second.
Until I saw her with another guy. And at that point, what are you going to do? A girl's with another guy? I mean, you'd be an idiot.
OJ had hoped they would eventually reunite.
You got
But
soup
with
cooking?
Nicole
That
dating
sounds
other
good.
men, he didn't contest her when she filed for divorce just 2 months after separating. In divorce court, there was testimony about the couple's history of domestic violence.
One of Nicole's therapists said it's no secret Nicole was battered regularly all the time. How do you respond to that?
Well, Nicole made it clear during our divorce, under oath, I might add, that this lady was crazy. She had told me, this lady's crazy. She wants me to say these things about you. And she wouldn't do it. That's why she wouldn't take the stand at our divorce, because they wanted her to say these things to get more money in the divorce. And what people don't realize that under oath, during her deposition, when they asked if I had ever been physical with her, and this is at a time she's trying to get in my pocket, and this is at a time she's been advised, say this, and it's going to help. But she wouldn't lie. That's the great thing. She wouldn't lie about it. And she told him under oath that that was the one incident that I was physical with her.
Was she
Can we make
afraid?
a deal? No,
Was
she
she
wouldn't
afraid?
lie. It's just that she wouldn't lie.
Laughing at his wife's death. Seems like he had a proven record. Absolutely. If anybody had enough evidence. I think this came down to a race issue and not culpability.
Yeah, she wasn't going to lie in front of me and on the stand.
When
not
you-
being afraid. There was nothing to be afraid of.
What happened next showed Nicole's fears may have been well-founded. Even as the couple waited for their divorce to be finalized, Nicole's close friends say OJ began stalking her.
I think she was definitely, they worked it out that she would say that.
One incident occurred while she was on a date with Keith Zlomswich, the owner of Mezzaluna, a popular local restaurant.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded This card. Okay, 118.
You write in the book about Keith and that night. Tell me that scene and what happened.
A lot of this I didn't find out until after, right? From her closest friends after my trial, even, because I didn't see these people, right?
I think a lot of men feel that way. Is it the narcissism that makes them feel like they own their wife like that? Like she was a piece of...
We had once in a while seen each other. She'd come by the house, and so it wasn't like we didn't have relations in the early part of our separation. So I had run into her, which they tried to say was stalking, because her and some friends were at a opening of a restaurant. I was there with like 16 people. So I'm like, if I'm stalking you with my crew. You know, we were all there too, you know. And I saw her, and I went over and spoke to her and her group. Then I went out with my group to a party, but on the way home, I said, I'll see if she's home, because if she's still up, I don't know how late she...
So he's admitting to stalking her right there. I'll go see if she's still up. So he wasn't invited.
She stayed out, you know, maybe, you know, I can get some. In any event, as I approached her front door, she has a window right along the walkway there. I can hear something, and I can see movement, and when I look, I can obviously see she was involved in something. I didn't know.
What do y'all think of that? He's peeping Tom. He's peeping Tom.
Who it's with or what, and I hit the door and left.
When you knocked on the door?
No, I just hit the door.
When you hit
I wanted
the door,
them to be alert, be aware that somebody's around and maybe they'd move or something. That's why I didn't even look. I just hit the door twice and left. It's funny, I realized when I got home, maybe for the first time since we separated, I slept like a baby. I'm just weird. It's really weird. I think what you do, you worry so much about something like this happening. That's what had me worried. That's what I didn't want to have. That's what I couldn't picture at night, and would make me wake up, and I was reading all of these books about how to heal a broken heart, and from that moment on, I was fine.
Oh, how to heal a broken heart.
With it.
The next morning, O.J. returned to Nicole's house to confront her in the presence of her lover.
Absolutely obsessed.
Here's how he describes the conversation.
But the next day we talked about it, and that's when, you know, we had promised each other when we separated that one of us was going to get involved with anybody, we would alert the other one.
Right.
She said it was a mistake, we had been drinking, and da-da-da-da-da. And I said, well, why didn't you tell me that this was the nature of your relationship with this guy?
Jim Clemente joins.
Today is, I called a friend of mine, a Hawaiian Tropic girl that I had met from the past and who I'd run into, and she said, I heard you and your wife were apart. And I said, well, sort of. And I said, well, I'll call you. And I called her. I was going to get some, right? Finally, in any event, she came over, and we were upstairs, and there was somebody
Mama,
at my house.
two of us, good to see
Marcus,
you.
Catherine, they're at the door. They had been trying to fix me up
He had
with this one
numerous
model.
affairs.
And
she
she was
owed
out of
him
town,
nothing.
but they had brought her best friend over
Him walking
to talk
in
to
on
me.
her
When I
like
walked
that, I've
downstairs,
had
it
that
was Paula
happen to me
Barbieri.
before, y'all.
Paula was shocked when the girl came down. The girl,
Pops
she said it was
didn't save her.
beautiful.
She fell through
But
the
her, I
cracks
just hit
big
it off.
time,
I mean,
didn't
we
she?
just
Hey,
hit it off, and
Jackie.
we spoke
Good
on
to
the
see
phone because she
you.
traveled a lot for a month, and about a month later, we really became involved. And
Paula Barbieri would become O.J.'s
Thank you,
on and off
Jackie.
girlfriend for the next 2.5 years,
Cops were on his
staying with him
side.
throughout the murder trial. But he says that even as he got serious with Paula, he never stopped talking to Nicole.
What happened during that time? You start dating Paula, and you write about Nicole's reaction to your dating Paula.
It's funny because she was dating various people, and she would call me and talk to me about it. And, you know, it started to reach a point where it became irritating. It became a problem because one minute she'd call me and I'd give her advice, and then she'll call out of the blue because of something real stupid and give me a hard time, right? So I had made up my mind that I really didn't want her to call me unless it had to do with the kids. And it was kind of irritating to Paula also.
To have Nicole.
Why are you talking to your ex-wife about our relationship? Paula used to say, why are you talking to her about her boyfriends? She even got pregnant during that period of time, and called me, not to ask what to do, but I think she just needed somebody to talk to.
Did you feel at that time that you still had love for her, affection for her?
Of course I still had love. See, I had been with her at that time for, what, 14, 15 years. I felt she was the love of my life. Even though we were splitting, she was the love of my life. And I never really thought, I never even really thought it was over. Even after we split the last time, I knew her and I would always had this in our lives.
Glad you're here,
that we
Mama,
would
two
cross.
of us.
You know, it just was the nature of our relationship.
Hey, Kim, glad you're
You
back.
said that she got pregnant. Was she pregnant by you at the time?
No, oh no, no.
I didn't know
no,
this.
whoever she was dating. I don't want to say the guy's name because I don't know for sure. But
did that upset you?
No, no. I even wondered why she called and told me. You know.
Now you write.
There's something I didn't need to know. At that time, Paul and I had rid off.
You slept in his jersey and met him when he was 10. Or when you were 10,
OJ says to appease Paula and focus exclusively on their new relationship, he cut off all contact with Nicole.
I was living in New York half the year, and I happened to be in L.A., and the phone rang, and I picked it up, and it was her, and I had successfully avoided her for a month and a half, 2 months, right? And she says, hi, and hey, how you doing? And why are you avoiding me? I said, look, it's not that I'm avoiding you. I just don't want to hear the stuff. And she said she needed to speak to me. And I finally said, okay, speak. No, I need to talk to you to speak to you. And I said, you know, look, let me call you back. I got to take this other call, which was no call. I went back to sleep. Shortly after that, my kids ran into the house and ran in and gave me a hug and gave me a letter as well as tapes of our wedding. And ran out to their playground that I had built for them in the front. And when I went out to be with the kids.
He always tries to make himself sound like the hero in all the stories.
She was there. So I figured I can't keep avoiding her. Right? So I went over and said, okay, what do you want to do? Well, let's take a walk. So
thank you, SDA.
You know, 2, 3 steps. She said, I want to come home, you know. I missed you, I love you. And I was like, how could you love me? You know, you haven't seen me. We barely seen each other in the last 8, 9 months.
Driving around that
what do you mean you love me? She said, well, I never told you I didn't love you.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
I said,
what were you doing when it all went down?
Guys have heard this. That's right. And it made no sense, but I kind of let him.
I was in Oregon. A street sign was loose, and he shook it like it was his strength that did it. And me and my brothers were all impressed. Wow. I want everyone here to know Gypsy is a very kind soul. Oh, bless your heart. I love you. Thank you. Y'all mean everything to me.
I know that I wasn't interested in getting back together, but I did think we should spend time together with the kids, you know, which I would do when Paula was out of town, right?
OJ claimed it was for the kids that he...
Look how beautiful their babies was. Aren't those beautiful babies? I couldn't get over just how beautiful they are.
He and Nicole began to spend more time together.
See both of them.
But sometimes just the two of them went out alone. He recalls one evening that would change everything.
Look at Nicole. She was beautiful.
She was alone and she looked lonely, and I said, let's go have a bite to eat. I was telling her about Marcus Allen's fiance, Catherine, who was getting married. I was hosting their wedding at my house, and Nicole was crying, and then it got to the point, I said, well,
our internet
can't be
went
that
out
sad,
during
right?
that Bronco check.
And
Oh,
she
did it
said
really?
that Marcus was not my friend. I didn't
were.
quite understand what she was saying. Then it kind of dawned on me. I said, did something happen with you and Marcus? And she says, yes. And I said, check. Can I have a check, please? When I asked her, why did you tell me this? She said, well, he keeps calling. He won't leave me alone. And I said, well, threaten to tell Catherine. Threaten to tell Catherine.
How did you feel about Marcus Allen? This is your friend.
Well, Marcus came over when he came back in town and apologized.
I think he absolutely did. Yeah. The civil trial. I have to watch that too. We'll have to watch some of that. Those children are forever scarred for what happened to their mother.
Lawyers were very upset with me that I hadn't told them that, because they said these guys are trying to paint you as a jealous.
It's my understanding his daughter changed her name. Isn't that true?
Crazy guy, and did this really happen? I said, yeah, it happened. You know, everybody knew it happened. Nicole's best friends knew it happened.
To this day, Marcus Allen denies that he ever slept with Nicole, but OJ insists that he did.
How did that make you
that
feel?
That night ended, well, hey, I wasn't married to her. I thought it was wrong because she had...
That is coming out a lot, Jackie, right now, that his son had a bad temper and was actually, had been arrested for assaulting someone with a knife. Yeah. Oh, isn't that true? And he talks a lot of just rambling.
She had always been, really, honestly, she had always been the moral compass of our group of friends. I was a little baffled. And that night, actually, after I dropped her off, something really kind of happened that night that started my downfall as I think about it, but I prefer not to talk about it here.
What happened?
Right now. I really don't want to talk about it here. I really don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
What happened, OJ claims, is that he and Nicole slept together, which he wrote in the book was like an addict having a relapse. The couple, now divorced, agreed to continue living apart, but try to reconcile. For the next few months, sometimes he spent the night at her place, sometimes she at his. But the calm didn't last.
911 emergency.
Can you get someone over here now to 325 Gretna Green? He's back.
Hey, what does he look like?
He's O.J. Simpson.
He just had no self-control. Zero self-control.
Wait a minute, we're sending the police. What is he doing? Is he threatening you?
When it came to her.
Going nuts.
How do you take 20,000 children in the middle of New York City without anybody seeing?
OJ had heard a rumor that sent him into a jealous rage. That Nicole had been hosting parties where there were drugs and group sex.
If she was being influenced by drugs or anything, maybe she might have been making the wrong decision. I just know I didn't want any of these people around my kids.
Okay, has he threatened you in any way, or is he just harassing you?
You're going to hear him in a minute. He's about to get free.
Okay, just stay on the line.
I don't want to stay on the line. I'm going to beat this.
Wait a minute, just stay on the line so we can know what's going on to the police.
Do y'all think she was addicted to him as well?
Get there, okay? Okay, Nicole?
Uh-huh.
I feel like she was addicted to him.
Doing that 911 tape that everybody hears me yelling, I'm saying I don't want these girls around my kids. And that's the only thing that argument on that 911 tape was about. I went to her house and read her about riot act.
What does he say?
Oh, you're right. You mean like he dated women that look like her? I agree. Trigger warning.
Just stay on the line, okay?
I did what any father and would do. And yet, you know, people listen to that tape and made me this horrible person. Whenever they hear that 911 tape, can you believe he's yelling at her about this? Well, when the cops came, it became apparent. She said, I was yelling to her about this and only this. That's the only reason I was there, reading her the riot act.
Well, you know, wasn't it her, the girl from Tawny Katan? I know she was one
I don't
of
want
them.
these people around my kids.
Let's talk about the 911 tape. How did you finally done with OJ, but he wasn't done with her.
Up next, OJ describes what might
Yeah,
have
I read
happened the
she
night
changed
Nicole
her
Brown
name.
Simpson and Ron Goldman were brutally murdered.
And Nicole was nuts that week. I mean, it's just craziness.
It's a story he hasn't told before.
We're gonna sit right here and hear it.
You are about to hear O.J. Simpson talk about what he did on the day his ex-wife was murdered.
It's okay.
Let's talk about the
understand.
day of June 12th, 1994.
Yeah, I agree.
Tell
on
me
Kennedy.
about getting ready for your daughter's recital. Just
agree.
tell me, take me through the day.
Love,
It was
hate,
a long
yeah.
week. I had been to 3 or 4 cities that week.
understand that.
I was totally exhausted. My friends in New York tried to get me to stay in New York that Friday, play golf Saturday, and then go straight to Chicago where I had to be Monday morning. But my daughter was having a recital, and I had already missed, I think the week or two before, I was out of town, and I had missed had missed something. I forget what it was. Something that my daughter was having. So I couldn't miss this. So I said, I got to be there for the recital. And I flew into town, and I just wanted to go there, see my daughter, and leave. And I talked to Nicole briefly that day. She had called and asked if I could get there early and hold seats. And I said, I don't think so, which she did. And when we got to the recital, she had actually held me a seat with her and the two kids, right?
There was something that you write in the book about what Nicole was wearing.
Yeah, you know, it was almost like she was trying to be a teenager again. You know, dating all these much younger guys, wearing the shortest, tightest thing she was wearing. And sometimes you think something's inappropriate,
jealous,
but you don't say
Donnie.
anything. What am I to say? Tell her what to do.
Abusive, toxic
So you're at the
relationship.
recital.
Yeah, I was just exhausted,
right?
but everything was cool. And during one of the breaks,
Let me read these real quick so we can hear him. In my experience, as long as you stay angry, you can keep them away. But as soon as you are no longer mad, those feelings creep back in. Plus, if he is always around and with kids involved, it's harder. That's true. Hey, Neville, I've been missing you. Good to see ya. Hey, I'm so glad you're back. I've missed you. Okay.
Dr. Fisherman pulled me aside, and Cora Fisherman is Nicole's best friend. His daughter is my daughter's best friend to this day. And Dr. Fisherman said, man, Juice, you won't believe what's going on. These girls, he is telling me that they had fights, and Nicole was nuts that week, right? I mean, it was like, what are these girls doing? I mean, it was just craziness, what they were saying. And I said, man, get away from them. I tell you, these girls, whatever's going on is bad, you know? And this comes right after a week previous to this. Her best friend, Cora, had come to my house in tears begging me to do something to get Nicole away from the people she was hanging around. Somehow the prosecution didn't want that in the case, right? I don't know. I was upset. It upset me.
The Brown family, Nicole's parents and sisters, were also at the recital.
And
there were plans for a family dinner afterward.
Her sister looks so much like her.
At Mezzaluna, that local Italian restaurant. They recall OJ asking to come along, but Nicole said no.
Are you serious?
What kind of frame of mind are you in when you leave the recital?
I am tired.
Is that true? He would go to her grave and scream at it? Wow. Shit. After all the years, I never stopped hoping and praying. Still have my issues. Oh, I understand. We love you. Absolutely.
Irritable.
I don't want to sleep. I'm
Protect
irritable.
yourself.
When you get tired, you get irritable.
And you write about chipping golf balls into the neighbor's yard. You write, usually when I pick up golf balls, the world disappears, but this time I couldn't get her out of my head.
Yeah. I'm thinking about my kids and what Dr. Fishman mentioned to me.
What comes next is OJ's.
What might have happened on the night of June 12th, 1994. And let's
What
just walk
might
through
have
the
Well, first of all,
This is
it's
true.
very difficult for me to do this. It was very difficult for me because it's hypothetical. I know and I accept the fact that people are going to feel whatever way they're going to feel. You know, they're going to...
Oh, bless your heart, Tim. Praying for you. I hope you feel better soon.
whatever they want to feel. In the book, the hypothetical is...
Charlie pulls that up.
Charlie. This guy, Charlie, shows up, the guy who I had recently become friends with. And I don't know why you had been by Nicole's house, but it told me you wouldn't believe what's going on over there. And I remember thinking, well, whatever's going on over there has got to stop, right? So we kind of hooked up together, and you know, I'm kind of broad stroking this. We go over, get in the Bronco and go over.
Let's just go back and do the details. Where did you
I'm
park?
about to see the detail.
Here we go. Y'all ready for these gory details? Trigger warning. Let me, this is going to be graphic. There's an interview. Subject matter is made for mature audiences. Trigger warning. Some viewers may find subject matter disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. For educational entertainment purposes only.
I remember thinking, well, whatever's going
and you put on a wool cap and gloves.
I'm going to back up just a little bit where they...
The murders.
I don't blame you if you feel like the state don't care about you one bit, but they finally stepping it up with something solid.
That is, until now. Listen closely for the next 6 uninterrupted minutes. OJ puts himself, hypothetically,
Hey,
at the
Army
scene
vet,
of the
good to
crime.
see ya.
The chapter 6 is called The Night in Question. And you write in the book, now picture this and keep in mind that this is
Purely
hypothetical.
hypothetical.
Yes.
Hypothetical, allegedly, fair use, trigger warning, and all that jazz.
Why don't you tell me what might have happened on the night of June 12th, 1994? And let's just walk through the night.
Well, first of all, this is very difficult for me to do this. It was very difficult for me because it's hypothetical. I know and I accept the fact that people are going to feel whatever way they're going to feel. You know, they're going to, you know, whatever they want to feel. In the book, the hypothetical is
Charlie pulls that up.
Charlie. This guy Charlie shows up, the guy who I had recently become friends with.
Oh my God, who is Charlie? What is this shit?
And I don't know why you had been by Nicole's house, but it told me you wouldn't believe what's going on over there. And I remember thinking, well, whatever's going on over there has got to stop, right? So we kind of hooked up together, and you know, I'm kind of broad stroking this. We go over, get in the Bronco and go over.
Let's just go back and do the details. Where did you park?
Let's do the detail.
You park
in the hypothetical in the alley.
Right. You park in the alley.
Yeah.
And you put on a wool cap and gloves.
In the hypothetical, I put on.
How can he laugh at this?
Cap and gloves.
Right.
Yeah.
And you reached under the seat for
a knife. I always kept a knife in the car for the crazies and stuff because you can't travel with a gun.
Trigger warning.
And I remember Charlie saying, "You ain't bringing that." And I didn't, right? But I believe he took it.
Charlie took the knife?
Yeah. In the book.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the back gate.
Who is Charlie? Who's Charlie? Him?
Back gate.
Yes.
And it was open or broken or?
I don't recall.
Okay.
I go to the front and I'm looking to see what's going on.
Okay, thank you.
And I can see that it appears like Nicole.
Thank you very much.
I had candles all the time. She really did, to keep her overhead down, I think. And music was on, and while I was there, a guy shows up. You know?
So Ron Goldman comes in the back gate.
Yeah, a guy that I really didn't recognize. I may have seen him around, but I really didn't recognize him to be anyone. And in the mood I was in, I started having words with him.
He says to you,
he did this to brag, in my opinion. He did this for no other reason than to pat himself on the back and mark a score on the board.
I just came by to return a pair of glasses. Judy left them at the restaurant.
Yeah, words to that effect, yes.
And
he was I don't know if I believed it or didn't believe it. It was pretty much immaterial because, you know, I was more concerned about everything that was going on, you know, and was fed up with it, I guess. And
you get into a fight. Nicole comes out.
A verbal
fight.
Got a little loud, and by that time, Nicole had come out, and we started having words about who is this guy, why is he here, what's going on.
And she says, "This is my house. Get the
oh boy, here we go.
F out of here."
Yes, and which I didn't like because, once again, this is the same person, and if you read the book, you'll see some things that happened in the 2 weeks leading up to this that were very, very irritating, you know. And I think Charlie had followed this guy in, wanted to make sure there was no problem, and he brought the knife. As things got heated, I just remember Nicole fell.
So I want to ask you something real quick, if y'all don't mind.
And
SDA, is Charlie like a real person? Is his son Charlie?
This guy kind of got into a karate thing. And I said, well, you think you can kick my ass? And I remember I grabbed a knife. I do remember that portion, taking a knife from Charlie. And to be honest, after that, I don't remember. Except I'm standing there and there's all kind of stuff around. And
Okay. So
What kind of stuff?
Charlie is a real person. Thank you.
blood and stuff around. You know, I hate to say this, but this is hypothetical. I'm sorry.
He's
I know we got to back
bragging.
up again.
Right.
He's bragging.
Okay, I'm going to back
this
up.
Is hard. This is hard.
I know. I'm going to back
it's
up
hard
to.
to try to make people think that I'm. No.
I know. You wrote in the book, I had never.
This guy's crazy.
I grabbed a knife. I do remember that portion.
I remember grabbing the knife. I remember grabbing the knife.
Nicole had come out, and we started having words about who is this guy, why is he here, what's going on.
And she says, this is my house, get the F out of here.
Yes, and which I didn't like because, once again, this is the same person. And if you read the book, you'll see some things that happened in the 2 weeks leading up to this that were very, very irritating, you know. And I think Charlie had followed this guy in, wanted to make sure it was no problem, and he brought the knife. As things got heated, I just remember Nicole fell and hurt herself. And this guy kind of got into a karate thing. And I said, well, you think you can kick my ass? And I remember I grabbed a knife. I do remember that portion, taking a knife from Charlie. And to be honest, after that, I don't remember, except I'm standing.
So he's saying he took the knife. Sorry, y'all. I'm getting distracted by phone calls. Hold on just a minute.
Why is he here? What's going on?
And she says, this is my house, get the F out of here.
Yes, he died. Hey, Rose.
Which I didn't like because, once again, this is the same person. And if you read the book, you'll see some things that happened in the 2 weeks leading up to this that were very, very irritating, you know. And I think Charlie had followed this guy in, wanted to make sure it was no problem, and he brought the knife. As things got heated, I just remember Nicole fell and hurt herself. And this guy kind of got into a karate thing. And I said, well, you think you can kick my ass? And I remember I grabbed a knife. I do remember that portion, taking a knife from Charlie. And to be honest, after that, I don't remember, except I'm standing there and there's all kind of stuff around. And up to this that were very, very irritating, you know. And I think Charlie had followed this guy in, wanted to make sure it was no problem, and he brought the knife. As things got heated, I just remember Nicole fell and hurt herself. And this guy kind of got into a karate thing. And I said, well, you think you can kick my ass? And I remember I grabbed a knife. I do remember that portion, taking a knife from Charlie. And to be honest, after that, I don't remember, except I'm standing there and there's all kind of stuff around. And
what kind of stuff?
Blood and stuff around. You know, I hate to say this, but this is hypothetical. I'm sorry. I know we got to back up again.
That's okay. I'm going to back up.
He's bragging here, Rose. Don't you feel like he's bragging? He's talking about the if I did it.
All right,
this is hard. I know. I'm going to back up
to try to make people think that I'm.
I know. You wrote in the book, I had never seen so much blood in my life.
He absolutely did it, in my opinion, allegedly.
Covered. You're covered. The scene. Can you describe?
Yeah. It's hard for me to describe it. I'm telling you. I don't think any two people could be murdered the way they were without everybody being covered in blood.
Glenn
Of course,
Rogers
I think
is
we've all seen the
Charlie.
grisly
Okay.
pictures after. So, yeah, I think everything was covered, would have been covered in blood.
So he went there with a friend? He went there with a friend?
How to open your car door while submerged underwater. A fatal construction flaw in all recent automobiles.
Here.
Yes, and which I didn't like because, once again, this is the same person. And if you read the book, you'll see some things that happened in the 2 weeks leading up to this
Right, you were
that were very,
hypothetical,
very
my
irritating.
ass.
Yeah.
Huh?
And I think Charlie had followed
Just
this
a
guy
minute.
in, wanted to make sure it was no problem. And he brought the knife. As things got heated, I just remember Nicole fell and hurt herself. And this guy kind of got into a karate thing. And I said, well, you think you can kick my ass? And I remember I grabbed a knife. I do remember that portion, taking a knife from Charlie. And to be honest, after that, I don't remember, except I'm standing there and there's all kind of stuff around and
What kind of stuff?
blood and stuff around. I hate to say this, but this is hypothetical. I'm sorry.
Right.
I know we got to back up again.
Sorry, I got
But
sidetracked, y'all. Let
This
me.
is hard. I know. I want to back up
hard
to.
to try to make people think that I'm.
I know. You wrote in the book, I had
It's
never
odd
seen
how
so
he's
much
so
blood in my
concerned
life.
about what people think of him.
Covered. You're covered. The scene.
Sorry, I
Can
have
you
a few
describe it?
distractions.
It's hard
Sorry
for me to
about that.
describe it. I'm telling you. I don't think
Did
any
ya?
two people could be
The trigger
murdered the
warning.
way they were without everybody being covered in blood. And of course, I think we've all seen the grisly pictures after. So yeah, I think everything was covered, would have been covered.
The
in blood.
laughing is disgusting.
And what goes through your mind at a time like that?
I don't know. It's like, what happened?
You write about removing a glove before taking the knife from Charlie.
I had no conscious memory of doing that, but obviously I must have because they found the glove there.
And blacking out. Have you ever blacked out before?
Not to my knowledge.
No.
No.
And
Of course, if something like this would take place.
I think that's what he just described, was if he didn't remember in that call to blackout, and then now he's saying he's never had a blackout.
In anybody's life, if it were to happen, I would imagine it's something that you would probably automatically.
Him and Charlie went there
had
together.
trouble wrapping your.
Charlie
your
is
mind
Glenn
around
Rogers.
It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible.
First thoughts. Eve, it's hard
Speed it,
for
I
you
just
to
wanna
even
hear
breathe. I've been watching you.
His own words.
There's a blood there. Ron's, Nicole's, and LJ's.
For the first time, he tells us all the shocking details.
Where are the bloody clothes? So somebody had to get rid of the bloody clothes.
Next.
Welcome back to this never-before-seen interview, in which O.J. Simpson has already revealed staggering first-hand details about the crime scene, which he says are hypothetical.
You wrote in the book, I had never seen so much blood in my life.
Yes. It's hard for me to describe it, I'm telling you. I don't think any two people could be murdered the way they were without everybody being covered in blood.
When he disposed of the duffel bag at the airport, hey, Fairy Love and everybody coming in my opinion, that was when he disposed of the bloody gloves, allegedly. That's what I think.
Then you see bloody footprints and you decide to take off.
Yes. Actually, I believe Charlie kept saying, we got to get out of here.
And in the book, you describe taking off your shoes, your pants, and your shirt and dropping it in a bundle. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And do you remember what happens
Because what
next?
are you going to do with it? You know, somebody's got to get rid of, as you may have called during the trial, is wear the bloody clothes. So somebody had to get rid of the bloody clothes.
Right. And you had left your keys and wallet in your pants pocket, and you had to go back and get it?
You know, to be honest, I know that to be true, yes, yes.
And Charlie is hysterical, screaming, Jesus Christ, OJ, Jesus Christ, and you tell him to shut up?
Yeah, he's in a panic. He was in a panic, and I'm telling him to shut up. Let's get out of here.
So you get back in the car, you take in your clothes, put them in the bundle?
And drove back and
Sorry, I was reading all these damn messages coming out. It's awful. I cannot stand seeing his face. I know, right? He seems like he's bragging, in my opinion. Do y'all feel like he's bragging? I think he's bragging. Did we lose power? Okay. Okay, good. Those people are out there working on our house, our apartment building. Let's see. Okay, sorry, I had to respond to that message.
I parked a block away because I knew the limo would be there, and came across the backyard through the 2 tennis courts and, you know, came through the house.
So you went through the neighbors?
Neighbors, yeah. He had a tennis court, then I had a tennis court.
And you go into the house.
That,
and
Brian.
what happens in the house?
I ran upstairs to take a shower. I actually ran upstairs and took some of my bags and came back downstairs and put them out front.
OJ was due to catch a late flight to Chicago, where he was scheduled to play in a Hertz golf tournament the next day.
And then
I think
get
that's
dressed
when
and I
he
come back
disposed
down.
of the
And
items.
then you get in the car and go to the airport.
That's correct.
You sign autographs?
Yeah.
And you wrote in the book that you were asleep before the plane took off.
Virtually, yeah.
Early the next morning, OJ was awakened in his Chicago hotel room by a call from the LAPD.
When did you cut your finger?
To my knowledge, really, when I got the call the next morning, and this is the truth, when I got the call...
I feel like that's what he was doing. I feel like he wanted to get it off his chest.
The next morning saying...
but bragging, absolutely
that
bragging.
Cole had been murdered, was killed, was dead. And I kept saying, what do you mean dead? Killed, or whatever the words they use. And I said, what do you mean? And it's, well, we can't tell you anything. We're still investigating, but where are you? And when can you get back here? And I think I actually went in the bathroom and it was dawning on me. I didn't really throw a glass. I just was, you know, and when I was putting it down, it just
He just cannot accept responsibility. I didn't really throw the glass. It just sort of like,
smashed.
Smashed.
Police believed that the cuts on OJ's hand probably came from the fingernails of one of his victims.
I went downstairs. I was bleeding at that point. I went downstairs and asked the lady on the desk for a Band-Aid. And I knew I signed so many autographs, and even when I had arrived the night before, there was people, and I signed autographs, and I knew I wasn't bleeding in any way at that point, but I knew when I was leaving I was. And I ran to the airport, and I ended up...
That's where he disposed of the clothes. If you listen to the man in his interview, he said the same thing. I'm watching on TV, but won't chat a bit. I need to do some bills. Okay, no problem. Y'all be sure to hit the like, and if you would, share it out. And memberships are $1.99. Okay, here we go. Oh, let's have a intermission real quick. Just real quick, y'all. If y'all don't mind. Let me show y'all this buy a membership. Buy a membership to Gypsy. Buy a membership to Gypsy. Okay, we'll get back to our regular scheduled programming.
Forcing my way on a plane. It was sold out, and somehow I told them that my wife had died and I got to get out of here. And they got me on.
You write in the book about speaking with Nicole's mother and her sister, Denise.
Yeah.
Do you remember what that conversation was?
I think Denise yelled at me something once.
Yeah. You wrote in the book that Denise yelled at you,
Yeah.
you brutal son of a bitch, you
Yeah,
killed her,
something like
I know
that.
you killed her.
Yeah.
And what did you say to her?
I hung up. Yeah. Denise and I never really had much of a but then again, she didn't have much of a thing with Nicole. Yeah, you know, there was a lot of jealousy there.
Let's start the beginning. And Chris, since you know this timeline of the crime so well, what do you make of O.J. Simpson's version of what happened next?
What people need to remember about that crime scene is that there are three sources of blood there, three sources of DNA on those bodies, and in that Bronco, and it's Ron's, it's Nicole's, and it's O.J.'s. So when he says that he didn't begin to bleed until he got to Chicago, that's a complete lie.
And then when he talks about the cut finger, he says, now this is the truth.
Right.
I'm curious what that signaled to you.
When somebody's speaking the truth, they're just conveying information. Somebody who's lying has to then convince you that this lie is true, so you'll get overselling.
I wanted to ask you, Eve, at the end of that segment, he goes out of his way to take a dig at Denise.
Well, because, you know, Denise was one of the folks pointing the finger of guilt at him. So, you know, it's just a little payback. That's just the kind of guy he is.
So the police now are obviously eager to interview O.J. Simpson, and he heads back to Los Angeles. We're going to hear what he says happened next. Take a look.
So you get back to L.A.
I get back to L.A. and now we're out of hypotheticals here.
Right, right.
I get back to L.A. and my lawyer
You crazy chicken lady. You're funny.
and my assistant picked me up at the airport, and we're driving. And my lawyer wants me to go to his office. We need to get to the office. We need to discuss what's going on. And I said, no, I spoke to the law. I spoke to the police officer, and I told him, he told me they needed to see me, and for me to get home as quick as I can. And I said, no, I said, take me to the house. And they said, come on, OJ, we need to sit down and discuss. I said, I don't care, get me to the house. So when we got to the house, there was media everywhere. We pulled up to the Rockingham gate. I jumped out. Out, went to the gate, and there was a uniformed officer there, and told me he had to handcuff me. I said, handcuff me for what? They said, well, I'm sorry, I got my orders.
Now, the cops wanted to interview you, and Howard Weitzman says Mr. Simpson is in no condition to talk right now, and you say no.
I said, they need my help to find who did this. I don't care. And I've read, I'm a voracious reader. Everybody knows I go through 2-3 books a week, you know. Now I'm reading all this fiasco stuff, but political stuff. But normally I read mystery books, and I know don't talk to the Lord, don't talk to him, you know. And if you talk to him, you got to make sure.
Do I have a rogue mod? Yeah, what's going on? I don't think that's her. I think it's Rapper. I don't think that's her, y'all. She wouldn't do that. I don't think that's her. I don't think she'd do that.
It's recorded.
Send me a message if it is you,
So I
crazy
told him,
chicken
no, I
lady,
will
and
talk
I'll
to him. I'll
unblock.
do anything I could do to help them solve this case.
Yeah. And you said in there, I needed to know what they knew.
Yeah.
If it is you, crazy chicken lady, send me a message and I'll unblock.
I mean, I need to tell me something. Nobody told me anything. All right, so nobody told me anything. I don't know what they know. They're giving me this runaround. In any event, I spoke to him. I told him what I knew. I told him everything about myself. that they asked, answered all their questions.
You haven't had any problems with her lately, have you? Okay.
Can you hear me, crazy chicken lady? It was a spam in chat. It was saying it over and over and over and over again. It was spam in chat. Hold on. Hold on, I'll unblock you. Hold on, I'll unblock you. It was repeating what you typed over and over. Hold on. Okay.
I always have problems with her. You know, that's our relationship. It's been a problem relationship.
Despite being briefly handcuffed, OJ was not under arrest. And after being questioned by detectives at police headquarters, he was released into the custody of his attorneys.
Hold on, let me, that's not what I want me. Sorry, we got a little derailed. Let me fix this real quick. Let me go to my... Hold on, I'm fixing it. It doesn't look like you're blocked. Let me try this. Hold on, I'm fixing it. If I could spell. Hold on, I'm fixing it. If I could spell right. Now I don't see it. I don't see it. Shit. Now I don't see ya. Now I don't see you at all. You were here under my mod list. Cancel. Discard changes. Okay. Let's see. Is she back yet? You did? I don't know how to fix it. Because I don't see her anywhere. Is she just timed out? Go to Google settings. Oh, shit. Okay, thanks.
OJ, are you a suspect? David, I told you before he wasn't going to say anything. I know you got to ask the question, but give us a break here.
What was the hardest thing for you at that time? That people, you write in the book that you couldn't believe that people thought you were a murderer.
It was hard to believe that. It seemed so easy listening to TV that week that it was that easy for people to believe that I could kill two people. I thought that my whole life meant something. I thought the type of guy that I had lived my life, being a pretty upstanding guy. I mean, like everybody had my faults, like most men in my position. Sometimes temptations of the flesh is there, you know. But for the most part, I've always thought I was a straight shooter. In any event.
Oh, okay, is that what it is?
That was hard for me to accept that it was so easy for people to
Okay, will you let her know?
Believe that.
With his house at Rockingham under virtual siege from the media, OJ sought refuge at the home of his good friend Robert Kardashian, where he was reunited with his children.
I want to talk about what you said to your kids the first time you saw them after the murders.
Well, you know, I had asked Judy Brown not to tell the kids. I felt that was my place to tell my kids. I had to sneak out of my house the next day because it was like Troy. It's like the siege of Troy there. And a lawyer was able to get me out of the house, and Al Cowlings had gotten my kids, and we had met up on Mulholland Street Drive, and we're going to go to Bob Kardashian's home. And I just recall my kids getting out of the car and running across this Mulholland Drive and jumping in my arms. And I was trying to just find the right time to tell them, right? And right before it was time to go to bed, I read them a story, and I
They said
started
you're
to tell
just
them about
timed
Mom.
out, so give it
tell
just a
them that,
second.
Mother had gone to heaven, but Sydney said, "No, I know, Dad, Mom's in heaven." And I think I think I was in shock up to that point, but I think that moment is when I broke down. I mean, literally broke down, because the way she said it, it was not like, it was sort of sad, but not. She had no idea that she had lost her mother. She had no idea how this was going to affect
Yeah, I'll never have a managing mod. I'm it.
her life. She had no idea that, it was almost like sweet Mom's in heaven, And I knew that this would have a profound effect on her life. And I think that was the first time that that the pain was almost unbearable.
I want to talk about the wake. And you write, I was so out of it that I actually remember thinking, a wake for whom? Who died?
Yeah, I mean, they had put these drugs in me, and they tell me I would sleep all the way there. I don't even remember, like the funeral. I always tell everybody, I don't remember the funeral. I see pictures of Sydney and I kissing.
Seeing Nicole and leaning over and kissing her.
Yeah,
Can you tell me that story?
Yeah. Well, no, it was tough.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, we posted a new if y'all could share the video of the cats last night, the burglary, the cat burglar. Thanks. Okay.
I just remember seeing her there. And I still had so many feelings of, if you're angry with a person upon their death, when they die, it's not like that anger disappears, right?
Mom.
And because of the 911 call,
Thanks,
when I'm
Kim.
yelling at her about what's going on.
Thank you for your
it
help.
It was almost like I want to say, I told you, didn't I tell you? Didn't I say to you? It's whatever the hell was going on, you know what I mean? Didn't I? So you still got those kind of feelings in you. And you still are trying to deal with, I'm not going to be able to say this to this person. I'm never going to be able to change this person's mind. I'm never going to have an effect on this person again.
Yay, she's
What
back.
did you say to her when you leaned over and kissed her?
Yay, she's
I don't know
back.
if I said anything, to be honest with you. I'm told that that some person said they heard me say, I'm sorry. I just recall Judy Brown pulling me over, looking me in the eye and saying to me, OJ, did you have anything to do with this? And I know I told her no.
Okay, so a lot to dig in on that. One of the most chilling things is he's so angry, talking about an incident that happened 7 months earlier. That 911 call is 7 months before the funeral. And he's reciting it as, I told you, didn't I?
Right. And he's saying, I'll no longer.
House at Rockingham under virtual siege from the media, OJ sought refuge at the home of his good friend, Robert Kardashian, where he was reunited with his children.
I want to talk about what you said to your kids the first time you saw them after the murders.
Well, I had asked Judy Brown not to tell the kids. I felt that was my place to tell my kids.
Days after the brutal murders. But OJ would never show up.
There's a warrant issued for your arrest. When you find out about this, what do you do?
Well, once again, I was so depressed at that point, and I was having, I would say, probably suicidal thoughts. All I know is I wanted to see where she was buried, and I wanted the pain to stop.
OJ's childhood friend, Al Cowlings, known as AC, arrived at the Kardashians.
Lost until now.
Crazy Chicken Lady, it's okay that you asked that. Do you see that it's spamming for some reason? This comment right here is doing it now. It's probably just a glitch on YouTube. It's okay that you asked. I was just trying to get it to stop because it keeps repeating it for some reason. Will you help me explain, Kim, what it's doing?
And I said, well, you think you can kick my ass? And I remember I grabbed a knife.
We're finally going to hear the answer to the question that has haunted us all. What happened on the night of June 12th, 1994?
I think everything was covered in blood. It was horrible.
Is this his confession?
Here's one thing you need to do before you buy anything online. Don't spend another dime on Amazon.
You be the judge.
Well, what do y'all think? Do you think it was his confession?
Her.
Absolutely. Control. He had lost control, and so he did what he'd always said he would do. He killed her. Now he has no control.
It didn't resolve anything for him.
No.
Coming up.
I can't believe.
Can y'all help me remove those comments? If I do it as the owner, it times her out. So can y'all just remove a couple of them? Thank you. If I do it myself, it removes her.
What I'm seeing.
A nation stands still to watch a celebrity on the run.
I was being depicted as a fugitive on the radio. Hey, man, listen to what they're saying about me.
What was OJ really thinking inside the Bronco?
I was so depressed at that point, and I was having, I would say, probably suicidal thoughts.
Next.
Welcome back to that OJ would turn himself in at 11 a.m. on June 17th, 5 days after the brutal murders. But OJ would never show up.
There's a warrant issued for your arrest. When you find out about this, what do you do?
Well, once again, I was so depressed at that point, and I was having, I would say, probably suicidal thoughts. All I know is I wanted to see where she was buried, and I wanted the pain to stop.
OJ's childhood friend, Al Cowlings, known as AC, arrived at the Kardashians expecting to drive OJ to police headquarters.
It was at that time that we discovered for the first time that OJ was not present. Al Cowlings was not present.
And then I told AC, they were waiting to take me to the jail. I said, AC, take me to her grave.
They're all gone now, aren't they? I know Athley Bailey, Shapiro, what was the one, if it doesn't fit, you must have quit. Cochran is gone. I think all of them.
Then when we got in the car,
I want to go through that
I
note.
actually said, take me to her house, but when we got there were cops everywhere. So I said, take me to her gravesite.
Why did you want to go to her house?
I don't know. That's when she was last alive. That's, it was, I hadn't seen it, but I do know.
SDA, what's he crying about today? From what I understood, he jumped on a few people in his chat. I slept. I tried to listen.
No, I wanted to see where she was buried. I knew I was
When
going to
it's
have to.
rainy here, I sleep.
I just knew this was going to be a long ordeal. I was in so much pain, I just wanted it to stop. I didn't think I could bear it, and I kept saying, I can't be locked in a cell right now. My kids need me right now, and da-da-da. And I just wanted the pain to stop. So I said, take me to her gravesite with a lot of thoughts as we were going down there, and talking to AC as we went down there.
What did you say?
Just talked about life, and remember that time, and stuff like that,
3 hours after the deadline for surrender had passed, the LAPD held a press conference announcing that O.J. Simpson, having failed to turn himself in, was now officially a fugitive.
The Los Angeles Police Department right now is actively searching for Mr. Simpson.
O.J.'s attorneys held their own press conference to read from a startling note that O.J. had handed his friend Robert Kardashian before getting into the car with AC.
Okay, I will, SDA, thanks.
First,
Everyone understand, I had nothing to do with Nicole's murder. I loved her.
We won't talk about him. I think we were just mentioning that there's something been put out about him. No worries, you don't have to go.
Always have and always will. If we had a problem, it's because I loved her so much.
We just
In
all
the
have
note
different opinions, and let's be
that
respectful.
you left with
is
Bob
all.
Kardashian,
Yes.
you write, if we had a problem, it's because I loved her so much. Can you tell me what that means?
I loved her to no end, and always loved her. I think what happened, it became reverse of what she said to me when she wanted a divorce.
I want to ask y'all, what was it you think? I know, right? It's been raining here so much, and I sleep hard as a rock when it's raining here. About her that he was so obsessed with. How is defending attacks on your disabled child narcissism? I just said I know he got mad at his chat. I didn't know that he did that, or somebody did that. If y'all could just block each other, just not talk about it here while we talk about OJ. What was I saying about OJ? Oh, I don't know. I didn't watch. I fell asleep. I don't know what I missed. Well, we can all get along, right? Oh boy. Okay, I didn't know any of this. I'm sorry. Well, let's not talk about any other creators then. Let's stop talking about other creators so we can all get along. Everything was great until we brought up the other creator. So let's go back to our topic, please. Thank you, and I appreciate you guys all. Grateful for you all.
I loved her, but I didn't like her. I wasn't in love with her. That's what she had said to me, to get a divorce. And I kind of figured that's where we were at the time of her death. I loved her, but I wasn't in love with her, and to some degree, I didn't really like her.
Don't feel sorry
What do y'all think it was that he was so obsessed with her, though? I'm curious.
for me.
An addiction.
I've had a
He was
great life.
addicted to her.
Great friends. Please think of the real OJ and not this lost person. Thanks for making my life special. I hope I helped yours. Peace and love, OJ.
I want to talk about other things that you wrote in that note,
Yes,
if we
okay.
can. Please think of the real OJ and not this lost person.
Well, if I'm going to commit suicide, you are certainly.
Boom. I was hoping someone would say that. That is exactly what it was. That is exactly what it was. There was something there. She did something. She did something. She put the claw on him. That made him just fall completely in love with her like
Not
that.
a
Or
person who
in
is
together.
At that
Lust.
stage in my life, if I'm going to
Lust.
commit suicide, I am obviously, not the person that I wanted people to know me to be, that I felt that I was. So, I thought I'd always been a pretty good guy. I don't think any athlete had ever had the goodwill of the public that I had. I mean, certainly no better than the goodwill that I had had. And in 3 short days, from Monday to Friday, or 4 short days, just listening to the TV screens, to see all that goodwill evaporated,
Did you feel lost?
In many ways, yeah, it's almost like you were, Ron and Nicole were physically dead, and it's almost like they killed me. Who I was attacked and murdered also in that short period of time. And once again, I to this day, it bugs me that it seems that
She put it
people
on him.
wanted me to be guilty.
it on
That
him.
really, really bothers me.
By late afternoon, the search for OJ had made television history. Local stations deployed choppers to hunt for the white Bronco, and when they found it, the nation was transfixed.
This is a special report from ABC News.
I'm Peter Jennings at ABC News headquarters. Let's immediately go to a picture in Los Angeles. We're interrupting 2020.
The major TV networks went into special report mode, breaking into regularly scheduled programming, even interrupting the NBA Finals.
We will send it to NBC News. Here's Tom Brokaw.
Thank you, Marv. We are looking once again at pictures of Al Cowling's cars. It makes its way along a freeway in Los Angeles in the south central part of that area. And we are told by the California Highway Patrol that O.J. Simpson is in that car holding a gun to his head.
100 million Americans, virtually half the country, were glued to their televisions.
The vehicle is registered to Al Cowling, a former teammate, close friend of O.J. Simpson's, who is a fugitive from justice now.
OJ has to
For
face
more than
Nicole
2 hours, Al Cowlings navigated 75 miles of LA freeways with his old friend hunkered down in the back.
Hunkered down and biting the bullet. Fish and chip.
I'm going to go back to the Bronco, and if you can just give me some of the details of what you said to each other and some of the...
Well,
Here we go.
It
Here's
wasn't
the
a lot of
combo.
conversation, but basically it was just...
You had a gun.
Yeah, but it was in the bag in the back at that point with the pictures and stuff. The police like to say it was with a passport. I always had my passport there. They said I had $10,000. I think I had like $3 and something and change. As a matter of fact, when I was let out of jail, after my trial, and they were giving me all my things back, all the stuff that was in the Bronco that was mine back. I said, where's the $10,000? Where's my $10,000 that you guys claimed that I had, right? Which was totally false. In any event.
What are you thinking? You're in the car.
I'm in the back of still in the back of the truck, and I can't believe what I'm seeing. Because every time we go by intersections, it was like, where did these people get the time to make these signs, go OJ and stuff? And what was strange is I was being depicted as a fugitive on the radio, but from the side of the roads, it was more people cheering.
OJ says what made him snap out of it and decide to bring the chase to a close was pride.
I just remember listening to the radio, which I think was Dan Rather. It really saved my life.
Right.
Because when he said that OJ had a history, police were at their house all the time, 8 or 9 times.
I realized last night I'm just too old.
That was the first time that week that I kind of woke up. Hey, man, listen to what they're saying about me.
Her dad
I say,
passed.
This is
if he does anything
BS
right.
what they're doing here. Get me to my house, right? Take me home.
Her mother
and we
did
immediately called the police. The AC told them where we were, where we were going.
Yeah, really?
As AC pulled the Bronco into OJ's driveway at Rockingham, a standoff ensued as a police negotiator urged OJ to put down the gun and exit the vehicle with his hands up.
When we got to my house, I saw a sniper on the roof, and you get defiant. They've been telling you this, they've been saying this stuff about you. I got defiant, so I wouldn't get out of the car. I was just mad until I saw my oldest son, Jason, run across the road. And somebody grabbed him. He said, that's my father. And I say, I gotta get out of this car. I don't want him to get in.
Intense.
The police now know where he is. We have found him. The door is opening, and let's see what happens now.
O.J. Simpson is in custody. He has been transported here to Parker Center. He is being booked and processed. That'll include prints, mugshot.
He sounds very convinced.
Would go out his way sometime to talk to me through the cell, but I had no one to talk to from morning to night.
What was that like?
In the beginning, obviously it was horrible. You are so at the mercy of your jailers. For instance, the first time I had to make an appearance in court, I looked so bad. I had no tie on, but what the public don't know is they woke me up every 15 minutes. They rattled my cell, turned on the lights. They alleged I was on suicide watch, but all night long, they woke me up.
Wow.
They made sure I sat up in
making sure that he didn't kill himself. How ungrateful. Look how mad he is. Look at his eyes. Y'all see how mad he is? How dare you wake me?
In bed and looked at him. Now, you go through that all night long and see what you look like that day in court. And I look horrible that day in court.
Mr. Simpson, do you understand the charges as I read them to you?
Yes.
And have you discussed those charges with your lawyer, sir?
Yes.
At this time,
He was good looking, though. I'm going to give him that.
you wish to enter a plea guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Apart from his arraignment, O.J. would not be seen again until his trial began 6 months later.
You are looking at inmate number 4103970, O.J. Simpson.
Up next, O.J.'s reaction to the trial of the century.
There's no way they can convict me of this.
Why he's still mad at Nicole.
I've cursed her. I've been to her gravesite, and why? What the hell?
And why he agreed to tell all.
Damn, this is some shit.
Are you ready to
I've
enter
never
a plea
seen
at this
this.
time? Yes, Your Honor. How do you plead to counts 1 and 2? Absolutely 100% not
Not
guilty.
wondering, it was beautiful. Yes, and their
The Los Angeles
babies
County
are
District Attorney
gorgeous.
has just filed murder charges against Orenthal James O.J. Simpson.
For nearly a year, the so-called trial of the century was must-see TV.
There is an amazing, ravenous appetite for information about O.J. Simpson.
In 1995, just 3 years after the LA riots, the debate over O.J.'s guilt or innocence divided America across racial lines.
These white people, excuse me, but that's the way I feel about this here situation, trying to set the brother up.
The prosecution was confident they had a slam dunk case.
I've never had a case with so much evidence in my entire life.
Traces of the victim's blood was found in Simpson's car and at his home.
And it's the kind of evidence that causes defendants to be convicted.
You guys thought you had a slam dunk case. Marsha Clark said, "I have never tried a case with so much evidence." She sounded incredibly confident.
Contrary to what people might think, you know, we were seasoned veterans in the DA's office, and we understood that there's more to a trial than just the evidence. The first time I talked to Marsha Clark about this case, she said, "I have all of this evidence. The only problem now is if I can get someone to believe it."
This case is a circus, and they've made it a circus.
The mostly African-American jury did not believe it after Simpson's dream team of lawyers successfully took advantage of a series of police and prosecution missteps, including testimony about a key detective using a racial slur.
He said, "The only good is a dead."
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
It created reasonable doubt that O.J. Simpson had committed the murders.
All right, Mr. Simpson, would you please stand and face the jury?
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony upon Nicole Brown Simpson.
He got away. Look at
So,
Kardashian.
11 months of
Look
trial.
at Kardashian.
Here's how...
Look at his mouth open.
Face the jury.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony upon Nicole Brown Simpson, human being as charged.
So 11 months
Kardashian's
of trial.
mouth's wide open.
Here's how O.J. describes to you, Judith, how he heard about the verdict.
What did you think of the verdict when the jury came back into the room?
I felt that if there's anything right with the universe, there's no way they can convict
Yes,
me of
I
this.
agree. I absolutely agree. And I think
we're
he
not
knew his
talking
wife was
hypothetical yet. That's how I
sleeping
felt.
with him, right?
There was a lot of talk that somebody who knew the verdict came to my cell and told me the night before, which is totally BS. Everybody that I came in contact with at the jail, which was run by the sheriff's department, told me I was going home from the moment Mark Furman got off the stand. When Van Adder and Furman testified, all the guys at the jail said to me, whoever was watching me at the time said, You may have did it, you may not have did it, but you're going home. The minute the jury knows these cops are lying, and they're lying, they do not convict if they think a police officer's lying.
What was your reaction when you heard
I
the
told
verdict?
all the lawyers, I told all the lawyers, we met, and I said, I don't want any celebrating. And I told my mother that the night before, and my sisters. I don't want no celebrating because 2 people are still dead, and I don't want anybody celebrating if the verdict is positive towards me.
Most Americans continue to believe that O.J. Simpson got away with murder. But some still maintain that he is innocent, a victim of racist cops and the media. And even though he was acquitted in the criminal trial, O.J. didn't get off scot-free. In 1997, a jury found him liable for the double murders in a civil trial. He was ordered to pay the victims' families $33.5 million in damages.
The money is not the issue. It never has been. It's been making certain that one man, the man that murdered my son and Nicole, is held responsible by a court of law, and it's happened.
Do you feel that you've lived the life of a convicted man in many ways?
Thank God the public has not forced me to live that way. The media has tried, but the public hasn't.
So what's it been like?
It's curious that I
They
go
never got
places
the
and
money?
the public will
I didn't know that. I thought he had to sell off
come up to me,
memorabilia
hug
or
me, ask me how the
something to
kids are
pay
doing.
for it.
You write in the book, I realized that, with respect to your children and telling your children, I realized that neither of them really understood what had happened to Nicole, let alone the long-term effects that her death would have on their lives. What long-term effect has it had?
Well, you know, I may see it in, you know, I don't like talking about my kids. I got to make it clear that, and my kids have told me, Dad, you said you weren't going to talk about us, don't talk about us. But I will go so far as to say this. Sydney especially had enough time with her mother to establish a work ethic. You know, she was accepted in every college that she applied to. They both went to the schools of their choice. They're both in college. For what these kids have gone through, even if they hadn't gone through it, I can't imagine having 2 better kids.
Do you talk to them about their mother? And
that's something that my kids ask me not to discuss. It's nobody's business. And just to say that, you know, I feel totally loved by my kids. They know that they're very loved.
Sydney Simpson was only 9 when her mother was murdered on the front steps of their home
Aren't
at
they
Bundy
gorgeous
Drive.
babies?
Her brother Justin was 6.
So cute.
They were asleep upstairs that night, and police woke them and took them out the back door so they didn't have to see the crime scene. We don't know what their relationship with their father is like today, but O.J. says he has never tried to erase
They
Nicole's
were
memory.
absolutely beautiful.
do you have a picture of Nicole at home on the wall?
Yeah. No, it's in the living room. It's Nicole, me, and the kids. It was the last real group picture we took together. So it's right there prominent in my living room. And my kids keep pictures of her in their room.
Do you believe in heaven and hell?
Yes.
Do you believe that you're going to see Nicole someday?
Yes, I do.
You do?
And my mother, my dad, I surely do.
And what will you say to her?
Hey, you know, I haven't thought of that. I would hug her. She, you know, if there's a heaven, there's a hell. They know. I don't have to explain anything. They know. That's what heaven and hell is all about.
Do you ever talk
Why
to her?
did he mention
in your
hell?
mind?
No, I prayed to her. I got on my knees and said to her, hey, look, I've cursed her. I've been to her gravesite, and why? What the hell? You know, look at these kids. Look at Sydney with no mother. You know, I've done that. I've done that.
He blames her.
That is.
Okay, well, I thought that y'all might enjoy this here before we end. I thought y'all might enjoy that. Is this what you're talking about last night, Jackie? It's a police chase.
Valley. Oh gosh, this is always so scary to watch. As far as we're told, this was just someone on the motorcycle doing stunts in a parking lot.
Okay, bye,
Someone
Tara.
saw that.
Thank you for coming.
Weaving in and out. Someone saw that, and sure enough, law enforcement was called.
Absolutely
and then here's another,
gorgeous
this is the
babies.
second CHP,
Is this
black
the
and white that we've
police
noticed
chase you were
here.
talking about?
In terms of bringing this to an end, when we call these pursuits, there are usually 2 methods, and that is either throwing out those spike strips which obviously this would be way too dangerous. And in terms of a motorcycle, I'm not sure if they would even do that. I now that I'm saying that
This
live
is a
on the air,
police
I
chase.
really doubt that. And then, of course, a pit maneuver, and that's not going to happen either. We don't cover motorcycle pursuits too often. It's more with the vehicles. So that would be great if we could get
motorcycle police chase.
He often joins us for these pursuits when we're live with you here on Good Night. We'll see if we can't bring him on at this late hour. So here we are. Will the motorcyclist now on the shoulder take that off ramp? Nope, just cruising on by. And when I say cruising, close to 100 miles per hour, just past the Fullerton Road exit here. This is East San Gabriel Valley, westbound 60. So when we picked this up, it was in really the carpool lane. Now it looks like it's in a construction zone, more on the shoulder, doing whatever he or she can to elude authorities. And right now doing a pretty darn good job as we now zoom in, and you can just imagine what that must feel like on that bike right now. I mean, just full blast here, 136 miles per hour. This is all of our extreme nav technology that's able to bring us the
where's the chopper?
So this is one of the more dangerous pursuits that we've covered. Off the shoulder there, it could so easily lose control going speeds that quickly. And it looks like we're taking this on-ramp, off-ramp here, westbound 60. And it makes me feel a little more comforted now that speeds have certainly backed
He's off the highway
as we're
there.
At the intersection here, the off-ramp. This is Azusa Avenue in the East San Gabriel Valley.
I saw that too. She changed her name too.
And now we're back over the freeway, and
she changed her name too.
The demeanor of this motorcyclist looks a little bit more calm, more relaxed as well. Just 45 miles per hour.
Well, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and go eat lunch, and I will catch y'all in the chats.
As we are still honed in.
Y'all would hit the like and share the stream so I can get an algorithm and boost our community.
When we cover
so
these
we've got
pursuits,
more people to hang out with
CFP coming up
and
really tight behind.
Chill with.
Really tight behind.
Hope y'all have a
South
good
Azusa Avenue
afternoon.
and
Thank you
Kalinga
for
Road
coming. Bye.
Making a left turn here, no problem.
You're 19?
Yes.
You look older. That's not a compliment. I'm telling you, you look troubled and older than your years. You're 19?
Buy a membership. Buy a membership to Gypsy.
I don't think we have anything for you. You're obviously in the wrong place. Please leave.
Bada bing, bada boom. Get over here. Get out of here.
Go, Monty, go, 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 go!
He's got green grass in front of him. He's at the 5 touchdown.
Woo! Bye-bye. Thanks now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Life is harder than I like to think, but it's easy when you're by my side. No point in calling, you just have to see the fundamentals of our life tonight. Cause I've been looking at a photograph of you, and I've been thinking about all the ways you move. This isolation got me feeling like I'm moving my love. You went away